Thank you very much, and Happy New Year, everyone. Conservatives add our voices to all Canadians in offering our condolences to the loved ones and family of Constable Grzegorz Pierzchala. He was a hero. He put his life on the line, ultimately gave his life for the freedom and the safety of everyone else. We stand shoulder to shoulder with our police officers who risk their lives to protect the Canadian people. And we stand on their side in combating crime to keep our communities safe. The details of the constable's murder are deeply troubling. Of course, this is the 5th police officer murdered since September, and it is part of a 32% increase in violent crime that has happened over the last 7 years, a 92% increase in gang-related murders. In this particular case, the accused was out on bail after having been allegedly committed similar violent offenses, including offenses with firearms and offenses against police officers. He, according to media reports, has previous convictions that are similarly violent. I regularly meet police officers across Canada who tell me that they often have to rearrest the same person in the same day, arresting a violent criminal in the morning and then again in the afternoon after they have been released on bail. These easy catch and release bail policies are found in Justin Trudeau's bill C-75, a bill that makes it much easier to get bail, even in cases of repeat violent offenders and even in cases where the allegations against the newly arrested offender are serious and dangerous to the public. So Conservatives are calling on the Trudeau government to reverse its catch and release bail policy, to allow for prisoners who have been arrested after a long rap sheet of previous offenses for violent crimes, and we believe that they should stay in jail until their trial is complete and until it can be assured that, and if convicted, that they should stay behind bars until such time as it can be assured to all of us that they are no longer a danger to the public. The Trudeau policy on crime has given us a 32% increase in violent crime, 92% increase in gang-related crime. And what has he done? Well, the Prime Minister, in response to all that, has decided to fearmonger against hunters, against rural Canadians, by pledging to ban hunting rifles. There is exactly zero evidence that banning hunting rifles will combat any of these crimes. What we need to do instead is keep the small number of repeat, habitual, violent offenders behind bars, and when they are newly arrested, deny them bail until such time as their trials are completed. In cases where the accused has a long track record of previous violent convictions. Conservatives believe that every Canadian has the right to be safe, that our police officers need all the support they can get in order to provide that safety. We believe that everybody deserves to live in a safe community and that they deserve to enjoy the security of the person that is guaranteed by our Constitution. We're not talking about minor offenders who make a small mistake in their youth. We're talking about the repeat violent offenders that are taking the lives of our people, that are engaging in repeat carjackings, stranger attacks, and in the worst cases, killing of police officers. Cases that have become all too common over the last several years. So Conservatives are going to demand the government reverse course, protect our streets, make our Canadian people safe, and that is what we will achieve when we are in government. I'm happy also to receive your questions today on the chaos at our airports and on our airlines as Canadians once again are faced with horrific delays, their vacations ruined, and sometimes losing money and time as a result. We think that Canada deserves better, and I'm happy to take your questions on that and any other issue. Thank you very much, and I now open the floor.
Morning, Mr. Poilievre. Taria Isri with Global News. On the question of bail reform, how do you respond to criticism that bringing in stricter bail conditions will inevitably penalize poor Canadians?
Well, first of all, I think that we should target tougher bail conditions at the most violent repeat offenders. Bail is meant to be for people who are of a very low risk of reoffending. And it should be there for that purpose. Someone has been charged and not convicted of a minor offense, they don't have a long track record of recidivism, then they should have the chance to apply for and in some cases receive bail. But for cases where you have someone with a dozen previous convictions of violence who's then arrested again, it's reasonable to assume that they will reoffend if they're released quickly. And in those cases, I think we should keep them behind bars until their allegations can be heard in court. As for the impact on poor and minority communities, those communities are disproportionately the victims of crime. And when a violent offender goes back onto the streets after having committed multiple offenses, is likely to be the poorest and most vulnerable that will be the victims of his predation. So I think that protecting the vulnerable is an argument against Justin Trudeau's catch and release bail policies. Instead, we should protect the vulnerable by keeping the most violent reoffenders behind bars until such time as they can be made rehabilitated and safely released.